I got pregnant by a beta by mistake. The next day, 400 wolves surrounded my castle, and I became Omega again. Alpha Queen stories. 7 years of marriage, and my husband never knew the taste of my mouth. But tonight, in front of 200 nobles, he called me Baron. The words hang in the air of the Versailles banquet hall like poison, and I watch them spread through the crowd with the efficiency of plague. Red wine sloshes in crystal goblets. Roasted pheasant grows cold on golden plates. Beeswax candles drip onto silk tablecloths, while whispers slither from ear to ear, each repetition adding a new layer of cruelty. The perfume in this room is suffocating. Rose, jasmine, musk, all of it desperately trying to mask the rot underneath. The moral decay of a court that feeds on humiliation like vultures on carrion. I sit at the head table, spine straight, crown digging into my scalp like tiny silver teeth. It's always been too heavy, this crown. 7 years, and I've never gotten used to the weight. My royal blue silk gown pulls tight across my waist. Tighter than it should be. Tighter than it was 3 months ago. The secret growing inside me presses against the boning of my corset. A truth that would shatter this entire charade if anyone knew. If he knew. But Philippe doesn't know. Philippe doesn't know anything about me, except that I've failed to give him an heir. His eyes aren't even on me right now. They're fixed across the room on Captain Dominique Beaumont, whose sculpted jaw and military medals make him look like everything a king's right hand should be. Everything a king's secret lover is. The sound of silverware against porcelain creates a symphony of judgment. Conversations die as I pass, resurrecting only when I'm far enough away to pretend I can't hear. But I always hear. Omega senses, even suppressed by 7 years of chemical torture designed to make me alpha enough to be queen, still catch every whispered insult, every pitying glance, every laugh at my expense. Still no heir to the throne? The Duke of Orléans slurs from his seat, wine-drunk and emboldened by the late hour. Perhaps the queen needs a more vigorous husband. Laughter erupts, sharp, cutting, designed to draw blood. I feel my face flush hot, feel my Omega instincts screaming at me to lower my eyes, submit, make myself small. That's what they did to me, those court physicians with their needles and potions. They tried to remake my nature, suppress the Omega, and force out an alpha that was never there. Luna Alpha, they called me. Strong enough to rule, strong enough to breed. But the life in my belly proves I'm not the problem. I've never been the problem. Philippe stands, unsteady on his feet. He's drunk too. I can smell it from here. Burgundy wine and the sharper scent of brandy, mixed with his rage-tinged alpha pheromones. He's been arguing with Dominique. I heard them in the corridor before dinner, voices low and tense. The captain wanted something the king wouldn't give. Recognition, maybe. Acknowledgement. The thing Philippe can never offer publicly because kings don't love their male guards. Kings marry foreign princesses and make heirs and pretend that duty is the same as happiness. This queen is weak, Philippe declares, pointing at me with a hand that trembles with fury or drink or both. 7 years without giving me a son. Perhaps I need to find another. The room explodes. Nobles gasp and twitter. Ladies fan themselves dramatically. Men pound the table and shout encouragement. It's a spectacle, a public execution without the blade. I'm being dismantled piece by piece in front of France's most powerful families, and they're enjoying every second. Something snaps inside me. Maybe it's hormones. Maybe it's 7 years of swallowing humiliation like bitter medicine. Maybe it's the child in my womb reminding me that I'm capable of more than this court ever believed. I stand. The silver crown shifts on my head, and I reach up to steady it. My crystal goblet catches the candlelight as I lift it high. Silence falls like snow, heavy and complete. Perhaps I'm not weak, Your Majesty, I say, and my voice carries through the gilded hall with a clarity that surprises even me. Perhaps I'm not barren either, but arranged marriages to protect the people prove otherwise, don't they? I'm a strong Luna Alpha. I think about that every night in my empty bed. After all, how can I give the king children when he spends every evening in the guard captain's quarters planning attacks? The silence shatters. Gasps turn to shrieks. Men shout. Women faint. Or pretend to. Philippe's face goes from red to purple, his alpha fury radiating so strongly that weaker wolves around the room whimper and lower their heads. I almost tell them. I almost rip away the final veil and announce that their beloved king shares his bed with Dominique, that their perfectly arranged marriage is as empty as the cradle in the royal nursery. But something stops me. Not mercy. Not even discretion. The baby. I can't risk what he'll do if I push too far. Instead, I drink the wine in one long swallow, feeling it burn down my throat. Then I hurl the goblet to the marble floor. Crystal explodes into 1,000 glittering pieces, each shard catching candlelight like frozen tears. I walk out. My silk skirts whisper against stone. Every eye in the room burns into my back, but no one stops me. No one dares. The night air hits my face like a benediction when I escape into the gardens. Winter has frozen Versailles into something almost beautiful. Rose bushes heavy with snow, fountains silent with ice, pathways lit by moonlight instead of torches. I walk until my legs shake, until I'm far enough from the palace that I can't hear the gossip, can't feel the judgment pressing against my skin. Then I cry. For the first time in years, I let the mask crack completely. Tears freeze on my cheeks. My breath comes in ragged sobs that echo off the garden walls. I'm a queen and I'm breaking, and there's no one here to see it. No one to use my weakness as ammunition. That's when I smell him. Earth, rich and dark, the kind that's been turned by hand. Rosemary growing wild in hidden corners. Clean sweat from honest labor instead of perfumed corruption. And underneath it all, something uniquely him. Leather and wood smoke and safety. Marcus Ashford steps out of the shadows like a prayer I didn't know I'd been saying. He's carrying pruning shears and a lantern, dressed in the simple brown wool of the gardening staff. His hands are dirty. There's a smudge of soil on his jaw. He's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Have the white roses bloomed yet, Your Majesty? He asks softly. It's the excuse we've used for months, the fiction that lets us meet without arousing suspicion. He works late when I'm troubled. I check on the gardens when I can't sleep. And sometimes, in the greenhouse where no one watches, we're not queen and gardener. We're just Kira and Marcus. Show me, I whisper. He leads me through the garden maze. Snow crunches under our feet. The moon hangs full and heavy, turning everything silver. My omega senses sharpen despite the suppressants. I can hear his heartbeat, steady and strong. Can smell his beta scent growing more complex as we walk. Betas are supposed to be neutral, unremarkable. But Marcus smells like home to me. The greenhouse glows with warmth when he opens the door. Heat rushes out, carrying the perfume of a dozen exotic blooms. Orchids from the Far East, jasmine from the Mediterranean, lilies whose names I can't pronounce. He tends them all with the same careful devotion he's shown me. Quiet, patient, transforming something broken into something that blooms. We stand among the flowers, and the tension that's been building for months finally breaks. His hands touch my face. Calloused from digging and pruning, rough in all the ways that Philippe's soft alpha hands never were. They tremble as they cup my cheeks, as if he's afraid I'll disappear, or that touching me will burn him. I lean into his touch like a flower turning toward the sun. I can't offer you a throne, he whispers, and his honey-colored eyes are bright with emotion. I can't give you jewels or titles or power, but I can give you something he never did. Truth. When we kiss, it's fire and need and liberation all at once. 7 years of emptiness pour out of me. 7 years of pretending to be something I'm not. Of sleeping alone in a bed built for two. Of smiling through humiliation after humiliation. His mouth tastes like mint from the tea he drinks. His hands are gentle but desperate as they slide into my hair, dislodging pins and letting red curls fall free. My omega nature surges, not the forced, suppressed version the court physicians created. The real thing. The instinct to surrender not out of weakness, but out of choice. To choose who touches me, who claims me, who deserves my vulnerability. This is my beta, my true mate, and I'm so tired of pretending otherwise. We break apart, both breathing hard. His forehead rests against mine. I can feel his heartbeat through his chest, rapid and fierce. When I look at him, really look at him, I see everything I've been denied. Honesty, kindness. The kind of love that doesn't come with conditions or political calculations. Marcus, I whisper, and then the words spill out before I can stop them. I'm pregnant. 3 months. It's yours. The world stops. He goes completely still, his hands frozen in my hair. For a terrible moment, I think he'll pull away, that the reality of what we've done will shatter this fragile thing between us. Instead, he holds me tighter. Kira, he breathes, using my name instead of my title for the first time. Oh God, Kira. His hands move to my waist, pressing carefully against the slight swell hidden beneath silk and whalebone. His eyes are wet. I've never seen him cry. I'm going to get you out of here, he says, and it sounds like a vow, like a sacred promise spoken in a church made of jasmine and moonlight. Somehow, I swear to you, I'll get you both out. I want to believe him. I want to believe there's a way out of this gilded cage, that love can triumph over duty and politics and 7 years of carefully constructed lies. But I've been a prisoner too long to believe in fairy tales. Still, for tonight, I let myself pretend. We stay in the greenhouse until nearly dawn, his arms around me, my head on his chest. The baby, our baby, nestled between us, safe and secret. When the first birds begin to sing, I force myself to leave, to return to empty chambers, and a cold bed and a crown that weighs more with every passing day. But something has shifted. As I walk back through snow-covered gardens, my hand rests on my belly, on the proof that I'm not barren, not weak, not the failure Philippe and his court believe me to be. I slip into my chambers just as the sun rises. The royal apartments are exactly as I left them, opulent and empty, gold leaf on the walls, velvet curtains, a bed large enough for 4 people that only I sleep in. But for the first time in 7 years, I don't feel alone. There's life growing inside me. There's a man who loves me for who I am, not what I can give him. And there's a decision approaching like a storm I can see gathering on the horizon. I sit at my vanity, pulling pins from my ruined hair. My reflection stares back, green eyes shadowed with exhaustion, skin pale from too many years indoors, a crown that's left permanent grooves in my scalp. I look like a ghost, like something that died years ago but forgot to stop moving. Carefully, I press both hands to my belly, feeling for the flutter of life that's been my only companion these last months. Your father is a beta gardener, I whisper to the child. Your mother is a prisoner queen, and together we're going to figure out what love really means. The words hang in the empty room, a promise or a prayer, maybe both. Outside my window, Versailles wakes up. The court will gossip about last night. Philippe will rage. Nobles will speculate about how long until I'm replaced. And somewhere in the gardens, Marcus will be tending roses and jasmine, waiting for the night when we can pretend we're free. But we're not free. Not yet. The crown sits on my dresser, glinting in the morning light. 7 years I've worn it. 7 years I've pretended it doesn't cut. I touch my belly again, feeling the secret life pulsing there. And for the first time, I let myself wonder, what if there's another way? What if queens can choose? What if love matters more than duty? The questions terrify me, because once you start asking them, there's only one possible ending: revolution, liberation, freedom, or death. For 3 months, I lived 2 lives. By day, the queen everyone despised. By night, the woman Marcus loved in the hidden greenhouse. The duality would have driven me mad if it weren't for the child growing inside me, a constant reminder that at least one part of my existence was real. Every morning I woke in the vast emptiness of the royal bedchamber, silk sheets cold against my skin, and performed the ritual of becoming Queen Kira Winterheart. Lady Marguerite laced my corsets looser each week. I told her I was bloated from monthly cycles that never came. She didn't question it. Why would she? Queens don't confide in their ladies-in-waiting, and I'd stopped trusting anyone at court years ago. The council meetings were torture. I sat in my designated chair, spine rigid, crown heavy, while men twice my age discussed matters of state as if I were decorative furniture. The Minister of Finance droned about grain taxes. The war advisor argued for military expansion. Philippe nodded and pretended to care, but his eyes kept drifting to wherever Dominique stood, always at attention, always perfectly composed, always the picture of professional distance that fooled absolutely no one who bothered to look closely. The Queen has no opinion on this matter, I assume? The Minister of the Interior asked once, his tone making it clear he wasn't actually asking. I opened my mouth to respond. I'd read the agricultural reports. I knew the drought in the south was causing unrest. But Philippe cut me off. The Queen concerns herself with softer matters. Leave governance to those equipped for it. The dismissal stung less than it once had. I was already learning to let go, even if I didn't fully realize it yet. My body betrayed me in small ways. Morning sickness hit around the 8th week. I'd rush from breakfast, hand clamped over my mouth, while the other ladies whispered behind their fans. Still barren and now sickly, I heard one say. Perhaps the king should consider an annulment on grounds of poor health. But Marcus had anticipated this. He grew ginger in a hidden corner of the greenhouse, harvesting the roots and teaching me to steep them into tea. I kept a flask hidden in my chambers, drinking it cold when the nausea threatened. The sharp, spicy taste became associated with survival. with the secret life I protected. My dresses grew looser by necessity. I told the seamstress I wanted empire waists. More fashionable, I claimed. She raised an eyebrow but complied. By the 3rd month, my belly had a definite curve that I concealed beneath layers of silk and strategic positioning. I carried books against my stomach. I sat behind tables during audiences. I became an expert in the art of hiding in plain sight. The nights were different. The nights were mine. I'd wait until the palace settled into sleep, until even the most dedicated gossips had retired to their chambers. Then I'd slip through the servants' passages, routes I'd mapped over months of careful observation. The greenhouse key had been lost and found by Marcus, specifically for me. He'd pressed it into my palm one evening, his fingers lingering against mine, and whispered, "Midnight, always midnight." The greenhouse glowed like a jewel in the darkness. Lanterns hung from the rafters, casting golden light over leaves and petals. The air was thick with humidity and perfume, jasmine, roses, orchids that bloomed only at night. And Marcus would be waiting, usually covered in dirt from whatever project consumed his evening, eyes lighting up the moment I appeared. He'd wash his hands in the rain barrel. I'd help him, our fingers intertwining under the cold water. Then he'd touch me, carefully, reverently, as if I might shatter. His calloused palms would slide over my shoulders, down my arms, finally coming to rest on my growing belly. "Hello, little one," he'd whisper to my stomach, and something in my chest would crack open every single time. We'd talk for hours. He told me about his beta pack in the mountains, a community that lived free from royal politics and alpha dominance hierarchies. "We choose our leaders based on wisdom, not bloodline," he explained one night while braiding lavender stems. "Omegas are our healers, our teachers. They're respected, Kira, not owned." The word "owned" landed like a stone in water, ripples spreading outward. That's what I was, wasn't I? Property, a womb with a crown on top. 7 years Philippe had owned me, and before him, my father had owned me. And before that, the expectations of Omega nobility had owned me from birth. I was forced into this, I confessed one night, his hands warm on my belly, the baby fluttering beneath his touch. Luna Alpha Queen. It sounds powerful, doesn't it? But it's a lie. They gave me hormone suppressants from the day I was betrothed, injections that burned through my veins, turning my Omega nature dormant. They performed rituals, painful, humiliating ceremonies designed to force my wolf into an alpha state it was never meant to hold. Marcus's jaw clenched. "They hurt you. They said they were helping me, making me strong enough to be Queen of France." I laughed bitterly. My wolf never stopped being Omega. It just went to sleep, waiting. "Then wake it up," he said simply. "Be who you really are. And what if who I really am isn't strong enough to survive this?" He tilted my chin up until I met his honey-colored eyes. "Kira Winterheart, you've survived 7 years in a gilded cage with a husband who doesn't want you, a court that mocks you, and suppressants that poison your nature. You're strong enough to survive anything. You just forgot what your own strength looks like." We talked about names. He wanted something traditional from his pack. Rowan for a boy, Sage for a girl. I suggested French names to honor my adopted country. Alexandra, Marguerite. We compromised on names that worked in both languages, laughing over the absurdity of 2 people from completely different worlds trying to name a child that shouldn't exist. "Alaric," he said one night. "It means ruler of all, in the old tongue." "Perfect," I replied, "because he'll never be ruled by anyone but himself." But our stolen hours couldn't last forever. Nothing beautiful ever does at Versailles. It was the 4th month when everything collapsed. Dawn was breaking. I'd stayed too late, as usual, unwilling to leave the warmth of Marcus's arms. I slipped out of the greenhouse just as the sky turned pink, hurrying through the gardens with my hood pulled up. I thought I was alone. I was wrong. Henri, one of Philippe's most loyal attendants, stepped out from behind a statue, his rat-like face twisted with something between triumph and disgust. He didn't say a word. He didn't have to. We both knew what he'd seen, what he'd report. I ran, not to the greenhouse. I couldn't lead him to Marcus, to my chambers, where I locked the door and pressed my back against it, heart hammering. The baby kicked, as if sensing my panic. I pressed a hand to my belly, trying to breathe. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I'm so sorry." Philippe came at noon. No warning, no announcement. He simply appeared in my chambers, dismissed my ladies with a gesture, and stood there radiating cold alpha fury. He didn't yell. That would have been easier. Instead, he spoke in a voice like frost. Henri tells me you've been sneaking to the greenhouse every night for months. Care to explain? My mouth went dry. I like gardens. Don't insult me with lies, Kira. He stepped closer, and I caught his scent. Wine, old leather, and beneath it, the faint trace of Dominique's cologne. You've been fucking the gardener. The crude word hung between us. I could have denied it. Should have denied it. But I was so tired of lying. Yes. He actually recoiled, as if I'd slapped him. You admit it? What's the point in denying it? You already know. I moved to the window, keeping my back to him. Are you going to have him executed? Is that why you're here? I should. By law, I have every right to execute both of you for treason. Then do it. I turned to face him, and I knew my eyes were wild. Kill me. Kill Marcus. Kill this baby I'm carrying. 3 months pregnant, Philippe. 3 months with child while you and your entire court called me Baron. So go ahead. Execute us. At least it'll be honest. The color drained from his face. You're pregnant. Didn't Henri mention that part? Yes. The gardener Beta got me pregnant while my Alpha King husband was too busy with his guard captain to notice his wife existed. I expected rage, violence. I'd seen Philippe's temper before. Thrown goblets, shattered furniture, servants cowering. But instead, he just deflated. The fury drained out of him, leaving something I'd never seen before. Exhaustion. He sank into a chair, head in his hands. Oh God, he whispered. Oh God, Kira, what have we done? The defeat in his voice shocked me into silence. This wasn't the Philippe I knew. Arrogant, dismissive, every inch a king. This was just a man, and he looked as trapped as I felt. I never wanted you, he said finally, not looking up. I need you to understand that. Not because you're inadequate or unlovable, but because I've never wanted any woman. Not the way I'm supposed to. Not the way a king is supposed to want his queen. My legs gave out. I sat on the edge of my bed, the mattress familiar beneath me after so many lonely nights. Dominique. Yes, he laughed, bitter and broken. Dominique, my true mate. The man I've loved since we were boys training together. But kings don't marry male captains. Kings don't get to follow their mate bonds if those bonds lead somewhere inconvenient. So I married you, and I've made you miserable for 7 years, and I don't even have the excuse of having done it for an heir because apparently I couldn't even manage that. We sat in silence, 2 prisoners of the same crown, finally seeing each other clearly. What do you want, Philippe? I asked quietly. He looked up, and his eyes were red-rimmed. I want what you have, freedom to love who I love, but I'm the King of France. I don't get wants. I get duties. So what now? He took a breath, and I watched him transform back into the king, pulling on authority like armor. You pretend the baby is mine. I leave you alone. Your Beta can stay. Discreetly. You give me the heir the kingdom demands. Everyone wins. It was the perfect solution. The easy solution. I could keep my crown, my comfort, my safety. Marcus could stay. The baby would be legitimate. Everything could continue as it had, just with better lying. But my Omega wolf stirred for the first time in years. Not the drugged, suppressed thing they'd made me. The real wolf, waking up slowly. And it growled one word. No. Lies don't protect cubs, I said, surprised by my own certainty. I won't raise my child in the same cage that's kept both of us prisoner. Philippe's face hardened. Then what do you suggest? You walk out the front gates with your belly full and your gardener on your arm. The scandal would destroy you. You'd have nothing, Kira. No title, no protection, no future. I'd have truth. I'd have love. Maybe that's enough. He stood, straightening his jacket. You're a fool if you believe that. Love doesn't keep you warm in winter. Love doesn't protect you from enemies. Love doesn't fill empty stomachs. No, I agreed. But it's a better foundation than duty ever was. He left without another word. I sat alone in my chambers, hands on my belly, and wondered if I'd just sealed all our fates. Marcus came to me that night in the greenhouse. I'd sent word through a kitchen maid who owed me a favor. He arrived smelling of panic and soil, eyes wild. Kira, Henri told the king. I heard the palace guards talking. I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful. I kissed him to shut him up. Philippe knows. About us. About the baby. Everything. Then I'm dead. He said it calmly, like a fact. He'll have me executed by morning. No. He offered us a deal. I pretend the baby is his. You stay on as gardener. Everyone pretends nothing happened. Hope flared in his eyes. Then we're safe? You agreed? I said no. The hope died. Kira, no. I gripped his arms. I won't let my son grow up thinking that man is his father. I won't watch you age from a distance, stealing moments in greenhouses, teaching our child to call you gardener instead of papa. I'm done living in this golden cage, Marcus. I'm done pretending. What other choice do we have? His eyes searched mine, and I saw the moment understanding dawned. No, Kira, no. It's too dangerous. I told them, he said quietly. My pack. I told them about you, about our baby. I couldn't keep it secret anymore. They're my family, and they want to meet you, to welcome you. My heart stopped. When? Dawn. Tomorrow. They're coming, Kira. 400 beta wolves, all of them ready to escort their new Luna home. That's an invasion. Philippe will think it's war. There will be bloodshed. Not if you choose. He grabbed my hands. If you walk out that front door, throw your crown at Philippe's feet and come to us willingly. They'll know. The kingdom will know. You chose love over duty, freedom over imprisonment. You showed them that being Omega doesn't mean being weak. It means being strong enough to choose yourself. I thought of 7 years. 7 years of empty beds and colder shoulders. 7 years of whispers and mockery and suppressed nature. 7 years of waking up and wondering if today was the day I'd finally break completely. Then I touched my belly, where our son was growing, where life had taken root despite everything designed to prevent it. What if I'm not brave enough? I whispered. Marcus kissed my forehead. You already are, my love. You just need to believe it. I spent that night awake in my chambers, not pacing, not crying, just deciding. Dawn came slowly, painting the sky pink and gold. I bathed in rose water, dressed myself. No ladies to help, I sent them all away. I chose white, pure white silk, that made me look like a bride, or a ghost, or both. I pinned my hair up with silver combs, applied no cosmetics, put on the crown one final time, feeling its weight settle into the familiar grooves it had carved into my scalp over 7 years. My reflection stared back from the mirror, green eyes shadowed but clear, skin pale but no longer sickly, a slight curve to my belly that I didn't try to hide. I looked like a woman making a choice. 7 years a prisoner, I told my reflection. Today, I free myself. I walked out of my chambers, down the long corridor, through the palace that had been my cage. Servants stopped and stared. Guards watched but didn't move. Word had already spread. Something was happening. Something unprecedented. The sun broke over Versailles, flooding the gardens with light. And from beyond the golden gates I heard it. Howls. Not threatening. Not aggressive. Just calling. 400 beta wolves singing to the dawn, announcing to all of France that their Luna was coming home, that they'd waited for her, that she was wanted, chosen, free. I smiled, and walked toward the sound of my future. The sound of 400 wolves howling at once isn't a threat. It's a promise that you'll never be alone again. I hear them before the palace does. My Omega senses, suppressed for so long, are waking up with the pregnancy, sharpening in ways I'd forgotten were possible. The howls start as dawn breaks, a symphony rising from beyond the golden gates of Versailles. Not aggressive, not warning, just calling me home to a place I've never been. The alarm bells shatter the morning quiet seconds later. Guards shouting, boots pounding on marble, the metallic screech of swords being drawn. Someone screams invasion, and the word spreads through the palace like wildfire, panic igniting in every corridor. I'm already dressed, already ready. The white silk gown I chose feels less like surrender now, and more like rebirth. I walk to my window, fingers trembling as I push aside the heavy velvet curtains, and what I see steals the breath from my lungs. 400 wolves surround the palace in perfect formation, not charging the walls, not snarling or snapping, just waiting. They form an unbroken circle, their bodies still, ears pricked forward. The morning sun catches their fur, every shade from silver to rust to deepest black. They're beautiful, powerful, and utterly, terrifyingly patient. In the center of the formation, I spot him. Larger than the others, his coat the color of earth and honey. Marcus. Even in wolf form, I'd know him anywhere. His head is raised, muzzle pointed toward my window as if he can sense exactly where I am, as if an invisible thread connects us, pulling tighter with each passing second. The air itself vibrates with collective beta power. It's different from alpha dominance. There's no crushing weight, no forced submission. This is cooperative strength. 400 individuals choosing to stand together. Their loyalty earned through respect rather than fear. something the royal courts with their rigid hierarchies will never understand. My baby kicks hard, as if responding to its father's nearness. I press a hand to my belly. I know, I whisper. We're going to him. I promise. I leave my chambers. The hallways are chaos. Servants running, nobles in nightclothes demanding explanations, guards racing to defensive positions. No one notices me at first. I'm just another panicked figure in white, moving through the madness. The throne room is pandemonium when I arrive. Philippe stands at the center, still in his sleeping clothes, but with a hastily donned ermine robe. Dominique is beside him, dressed in full armor, hand on his sword. The council members shout over each other, their voices shrill with fear. Military formation at every gate, Your Majesty. We're surrounded. This is an act of war. 400 of them. How did they get so close without being detected? The Duke of Orléans, red-faced and spitting, slams his fist on a table. Kill them all, every last mongrel. This is French soil, they have no right. They haven't attacked. Dominique interrupts, his voice cutting through the noise. They're just standing there. It's a siege tactic, the war minister argues. They're waiting for reinforcements. We should strike first, catch them off guard. No one is striking anything until I understand what's happening, Philippe snaps. His eyes scan the room and land on me in the doorway. His face goes pale. Kira. The room falls silent. Every head turns. I must look like an apparition. White gown flowing, hair loose, crown still in place but somehow wrong, like a costume piece that no longer fits. And I smell different. I can tell by their reactions. 7 years of perfume and powder stripped away, replaced by the scent of greenhouse earth and Marcus's skin, and something raw and honest that makes the nobles recoil. I walk forward, each step echoing in the sudden quiet. Philippe's jaw clenches. What did you do? He whispers when I'm close enough. I told the truth, I say calmly, to the man who loves me. And he told his family. They'll kill us all. No, I shake my head. They came to collect me. That's all. An escort, not an invasion. The chief counselor pushes forward, his face purple with outrage. Your Majesty, the Queen has clearly lost her mind. She should be confined to her chambers immediately for her own safety. I'm not insane. I cut him off, my voice ringing clear. I'm pregnant, 4 months with child by the beta gardener who tends your roses. Those wolves outside? They're his pack, my pack now. They came to take their Luna home. The explosion is instantaneous. Shrieks of horror, men shouting accusations, ladies fainting into chairs, some genuinely shocked, others performing for attention. The Duke of Orléans calls me words that would have made me weep a month ago. Now they just bounce off like pebbles against stone. I climb the steps to the throne. Philippe watches me, frozen. I stand beside him but don't sit. Instead, I turn to face the assembled court of France, these people who've spent 7 years treating me like a beautiful failure. 7 years, I begin, and my voice carries to every corner of the vast room. 7 years you called me barren, weak, unworthy. 7 years I tried to be the Luna Alpha Queen this kingdom demanded, but I lied. To you, to myself. I was never Alpha. I'm Omega. I always was. And the child growing inside me proves I was never the problem. Gasps. Curses. Someone throws a goblet that shatters against the floor. I don't flinch. Those wolves outside didn't come to make war. They came to collect their Luna, their true Luna, and I'm going with them. I'm walking out those gates, and none of you can stop me. Treason, someone shouts. Blasphemy. Execute her. Philippe raises his hand. Silence falls like an axe. He looks at me, and I see something I never expected. Understanding. Maybe even respect. You're sure? He asks quietly. I've never been more sure of anything. He nods slowly, then turns to the court. When he speaks, his voice is steady, resigned. Queen Kira Winterheart is free to leave. She was never truly mine. His eyes find Dominique in the crowd, just as I was never truly hers. The implication hangs in the air. Shocked whispers ripple through the room. Philippe has just admitted, in front of his entire court, that their 7-year marriage was a lie, that neither of us belonged to the other, that we were both prisoners of the same crown. He removes his crown, the heavy gold circlet that marks him as King of France, and holds it out to me. I stare at the symbol of everything I'm leaving behind. Then I push it gently back toward him. Keep your crown, Philippe. I prefer freedom. For a moment, we just look at each other. Two people who never should have married, who spent 7 years hurting each other through no fault of our own. finally seeing each other clearly. "Be happy," he whispers. "Be free. God knows one of us should be. You could be too," I whisper back. "You could choose. I'm the King of France. I don't get to choose. Everyone gets to choose. You're just not brave enough yet." I turn and descend the steps. The court parts like I'm diseased. Ladies press handkerchiefs to their noses. Men turn their backs. The Duke of Orléans spits at my feet. I keep walking. Each step on the marble floor echoes like a heartbeat, like a drum announcing liberation. My white dress drags across the cold stone. The crown sits heavy on my head. I'll remove it, but not here, not while they're watching. I want them to see me walk out still wearing it, choosing to leave rather than being stripped of title and dignity. The massive golden doors of the throne room stand before me. Guards look to Philippe for orders. He nods once. They push the doors open. Sunlight floods in, so bright I have to squint. Beyond lies the entrance hall, then the courtyard, then the gates, then freedom. My heart pounds so hard I feel it in my throat, in my fingertips, in the pulse point where Marcus once kissed my neck. I walk through the entrance hall, past portraits of queens who came before me, women whose names I learned, whose histories I studied, all of them trapped in their own ways. I wish I could tell them, "You don't have to stay. You never had to stay." The courtyard is full of guards, hundreds of them, armored and armed, positioned for battle, but they don't move as I approach. They just watch, uncertain. I'm still wearing the crown. I'm still technically their queen, and no one has ordered them to stop me. The gates stand open. Beyond them I can see the wolves, 400 of them holding position, patient as the stone beneath my feet. I stop at the threshold. 1 foot in the palace, 1 foot outside. 2 worlds colliding. Behind me, gold, security, duty, everything I was raised to want. Ahead, uncertainty, danger, love, everything I was raised to fear. I reach up and remove the crown. It's heavier than I remember. Or maybe I'm just noticing the weight for the first time. Silver and diamonds, cold against my palms. 7 years this circlet has marked me as Queen of France. 7 years it's been both my identity and my prison. I turn back one last time. Philippe stands in a window high above, and Dominique is beside him, openly beside him for the first time. The captain's hand rests on Philippe's shoulder. A small gesture, a brave gesture. Maybe I've given him something after all. An example, proof that choosing yourself doesn't mean the world ends. I raise the crown in acknowledgement. Then I throw it down. The metallic clang echoes across the courtyard as silver meets marble. The crown bounces once, twice, rolls in a lazy circle before settling. Diamonds catch the sunlight, throwing rainbows across stone. It's beautiful, and it's not mine anymore. I walk forward, through the gates, into the world beyond Versailles. The wolves open their formation like a door swinging wide. They create a path directly to the center, where Marcus stands. As I pass between them, each wolf bows its head in respect. Not submission, respect. They're acknowledging me as Luna by choice, not by force. The difference feels monumental. Their scents wash over me. Pine and earth and wild things. Pack, family, acceptance without conditions. My Omega nature surges in response, no longer suppressed, no longer fighting itself. For the first time in 7 years, I feel complete. Marcus shifts as I approach. The transformation is fluid, beautiful. Wolf becoming man in seconds. He's naked from the waist up, pack tattoos visible across his chest and arms. Marks of belonging I never knew existed. His eyes glow amber with emotion. I run the last few steps, crash into him. His arms wrap around me and I'm home. I'm finally home. Pain, sharp and sudden, cramping through my belly. I gasp, gripping Marcus's shoulders. The baby, he freezes. Now, another contraction, stronger than the first. My knees buckle and he catches me. Apparently our son has dramatic timing. The humor in my voice is real despite the pain. Of course this would happen now. Of course I'd go into labor the moment I choose freedom. The universe has always had a sense of theater. Marcus lowers me carefully to the ground. My white dress spreads around me like wings, like a surrender flag. Another contraction hits and I cry out. Can't help it. The pain is real and sharp and terrifying. The 400 wolves begin to howl, not in alarm, in celebration. They're singing for the cub that's coming, welcoming the new life joining the pack. The sound rises and rises, filling the air until it feels like the earth itself is singing. Marcus lifts me into his arms. I'm not light, 4 months pregnant and crying and probably about to give birth in the middle of the French countryside, but he holds me like I weigh nothing. The pack forms protective ranks around us. They move as one, a living shield. We begin to walk away from Versailles, toward the forest line where I know their camp waits. I look back one final time. The golden palace glitters in the morning sun, beautiful and terrible. 7 years of my life contained in those walls. 7 years of pretending and suffering, and slowly forgetting who I was. Another contraction. I press my hand to my belly, feeling my son fighting his way into the world. "Hold on a little longer, my love," I whisper to him. "Just a bit more. Let Mama give you a birth that's free, not royal." Marcus kisses my forehead, my face slick with sweat already. "You're more of a queen now than you ever were with that crown." We disappear into the forest. 400 wolves escort us, protecting their Luna and the cub that's determined to be born under trees instead of in a gilded cage. Behind us, Versailles grows smaller, less significant. Just a building, just gold and marble. Nothing that matters. What matters is Marcus's arms around me, the pack running alongside us, the baby about to enter a world where he'll never wear a crown he doesn't choose, where he'll be loved for who he is, not what he represents. Another contraction ripples through me and I laugh through the pain because this is it. This is freedom. It hurts, and it's terrifying, and I've never felt more alive. "Welcome to your real life," I whisper to my unborn son. "Welcome to the world where we choose ourselves. The forest swallows us whole, and I let it. Let the wild claim me. Let freedom burn away the last traces of Queen Kira Winterheart, until all that's left is just Kira, just me, just this moment where everything changes and nothing will ever be the same, and it's perfect. I swore my son would be born free, but I never imagined it would be literally in a clearing under moonlight, surrounded by a pack of wolves who barely knew me. Marcus carries me through the forest for 2 hours. Each step jostles my body, sending fresh waves of pain through my abdomen. Contractions come every few minutes now, each one stronger than the last, each one stealing my breath and making me grip his shoulders hard enough to leave marks. But he doesn't complain. He just keeps moving, steady and sure-footed even as I cry out against his neck. The pack runs around us in perfect formation. I watch them through tears and sweat, marveling even through the pain. Wolves of every size and coloring. Silver, rust, black, cream, brindle. They move as one organism, synchronized without any visible leadership. There's no alpha barking orders, no omega cowering at the back, just betas cooperating, each one knowing their role instinctively. It's so different from Versailles, where every interaction was a power play, where hierarchy crushed everyone beneath its weight. Here, strength comes from unity, from choice, from 400 individuals deciding to protect me not because they have to, but because they want to. For the first time in 7 years, I feel safe. "Almost there," Marcus murmurs against my hair. "Hold on, my love. Just hold on." Another contraction rips through me and I scream. The sound echoes off the trees, raw and animal. The wolves don't flinch. If anything, they close ranks tighter, their protection absolute. We break through the tree line into a clearing that steals what little breath I have left. It's circular, maybe 50 feet across, ringed by standing stones so old they're covered in luminescent green moss. A stream runs along one edge, its water singing over smooth rocks. The canopy opens above, revealing a sky painted with the first stars of evening. The moon, nearly full, swollen with light, hangs directly overhead like a blessing. "Sacred ground," Marcus says reverently, lowering me carefully to the soft grass. "This is where all our cubs are born, under moon and stars, not under false ceilings." The contrast hits me like a physical blow. In Versailles, they'd planned my birth in a sterile chamber with 20 male physicians watching, ready to intervene, ready to judge. Here, there's just earth and sky and the most basic elements of life. It's primitive. It's perfect. Older females emerge from wolf form, shifting seamlessly into human shapes. They're naked but unself-conscious, bodies marked with age and experience. One of them, a woman who must be in her 50s with silver hair and eyes the color of storm clouds, takes immediate charge. "I'm Magda," she says, kneeling beside me. Her hands are gentle as they press against my belly, feeling the baby's position. "I've birthed 300 cubs in this clearing. You're in good hands, daughter." Other women bring supplies, fresh water in clay vessels, bundles of herbs that smell sharp and medicinal, clean moss to absorb blood, thick woolen blankets despite the warm evening. Someone lights a fire in the center of the clearing, flames crackling to life, casting dancing shadows on the ancient stones. Marcus kneels beside me, taking my hand. His eyes are bright with unshed tears and fierce pride. Another contraction. I arch off the ground, crying out. Magda's hands are firm on my belly. That's it. Breathe through it. Your body knows what to do. In Versailles, I gasp between contractions. They planned my birth in a room with 20 male doctors watching. Instruments of silver. Protocols. Here I have you. Magda smiles, and it transforms her weathered face into something beautiful. Here you have sisters, daughter, and sisters hold sisters while life arrives. As labor intensifies, something inside me shifts, not just physically, though the baby is definitely moving, but something deeper. Something that's been locked away for 7 years starts to crack open. My vision changes first. The world becomes sharper, colors more vivid. I can see individual threads in the blanket beneath me, count the scales on a moth landing on Marcus's shoulder. When I blink, my eyes catch the firelight differently. Marcus gasps. Your eyes. Kira, your eyes are glowing. I reach up, touch my face. My teeth are longer, sharper, fangs extending naturally for the first time in years. The suppressants they gave me every morning in Versailles kept this at bay, kept my wolf drugged and dormant. But I haven't had suppressants in months. And now, with my body in the most primal state possible, my true nature is waking up. Silver light spills from my eyes, not the forced golden glow of a Luna Alpha, but the pure moonlit silver of an Omega in her power. My wolf rises inside me like a tide, no longer fighting against artificial barriers. She's awake. She's real. She's me. I feel Marcus's emotions suddenly, his fear for me, his overwhelming love, his determination to protect us both. The mate bond snaps into place like a cord pulled taut, connecting us in ways I never experienced with Philippe. This is real. This is right. This is what the moon goddess intended. Beyond Marcus, I feel the pack. 400 consciousnesses brushing against mine, offering strength, offering acceptance. They're welcoming me not as their queen, but as their Luna, as family, as one of them. And beneath it all, I feel the earth, the ancient stones humming with power, the moon pulling at something deep in my core, the stream singing its eternal song. I'm connected to all of it in ways that have nothing to do with crowns or titles or politics. 7 years pretending to be Alpha. I laugh through tears. 30 seconds being true Omega. And this is the first time I've ever felt powerful. Marcus kisses my hand, his face wet. You're so beautiful, so perfect. But the wonder is short-lived. Another contraction hits. Harder, sharper, wrong. I scream and Magda's face tightens with concern. The cub is stuck, she says, hands pressing different points on my belly. Positioned wrong. You're losing too much blood. I look down. My white dress, the one I wore out of Versailles, is soaked red. Too much red. The moss beneath me is saturated. Panic claws at my throat. No, please. I didn't leave everything behind just to lose him now. Magda's storm gray eyes meet mine, serious and steady. You need to shift, daughter. Let your wolf help. She knows how to birth this cub. Terror floods through me. I've never shifted completely. The suppressants, they wouldn't let me. I don't know how. Your wolf knows, Marcus insists, gripping both my hands now. Stop thinking. Stop controlling. Just let go. Trust her. Trust me. Another contraction. More blood. The baby's heartbeat, which I can hear now with my enhanced senses, is slowing. Distress. My son is in distress, and I'm the one killing him by being too afraid to embrace what I am. I close my eyes. Stop fighting. Stop controlling. Stop being the perfect, obedient, suppressed Omega who does what she's told. And I let go. The transformation begins like lightning through my bones. Pain. Yes. God, yes. It hurts. But it's also relief, like stretching muscles that have been cramped for years, like finally breathing deep after being underwater. My spine elongates. My jaw extends. My skin ripples and silver-white fur erupts across my body. I hear everything suddenly. The baby's heartbeat strong again, adjusting to my shift. Marcus's breath catching in wonder. The pack's collective howl of approval as I transform for the first time. The earth itself seems to hum beneath me. My senses explode outward. I can smell fear, hope, love from the assembled wolves, can taste the mineral content of the stream water 30 feet away. can feel the moon's pull like a physical weight, ancient and knowing. I am complete. For the first time in 28 years, I am whole. Not half-drugged, not forcibly altered, not pretending to be something I'm not. Just me, just Wolf, just Omega in all her silver power. I throw my head back and howl. The sound is ancient, primal, and absolutely mine. It echoes off the stones, rises to the stars, announces to the world that Kira Winterheart has finally come home to herself. 400 wolves answer. Their voices join mine in harmony, building into a symphony that makes the very air vibrate. We are pack, we are family, we are whole, and my body knows what to do now. The baby descends, coordinating with lupine instincts that bypass human panic. My wolf knows how to birth cubs. Has always known. Was just waiting to be allowed. Magda guides me through it, her hands gentle on my wolf form. That's it. You're doing it. Just a bit more. One more push. One more contraction that I ride instead of fight. And suddenly there's release. Relief. The weight I've been carrying for 4 months leaves my body in a rush. A cub. Small and wet and perfect. His fur is golden honey, just like Marcus's wolf form. He's not crying yet. Just squirming. Searching instinctively for warmth. I shift back immediately. The transformation easier now that I know the way. Human hands reach for my son with desperate need. Magda places him on my chest, skin to skin, and he makes the softest sound. Not a cry, just an announcement. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm yours. The clearing falls completely silent except for the crackling fire and my son's small noises. Even the stream seems to quiet, as if the whole world is holding its breath. Marcus kneels beside us, one hand supporting my back, the other touching our son with trembling fingers. A boy, he whispers, voice breaking. Kira, we have a boy. Tears stream down my face, but they're not sad. They're overwhelming, pure, perfect joy. He was born free, Marcus. No crowns, no titles, no prisons. Just free. Our son opens his eyes. Impossible this soon. But he does. They're unfocused, but already searching. His tiny hand curls around my finger with surprising strength. The entire pack howls again, celebrating the new life. The sound rises and rises, filling the clearing, reaching toward the moon that witnessed everything. Magda wraps a blanket around us both. Luna chooses the cub's name. She says gently, "It's our way." I look at my son, at his golden fur beginning to dry and fluff, at his perfect tiny fingers, at the way he already turns toward Marcus's voice. Then I look at Marcus himself, this beta gardener who loved me when I was nothing, who gave me a family I never knew I could have. Finally, I look at the 400 wolves surrounding us, at Magda with her gentle wisdom, at the ancient stones and eternal moon, at the life I chose over the crown I was given. His name is Alaric, I say clearly. In the old tongue it means ruler of all, because he'll never be prisoner to any throne. He'll rule only his own life. Marcus kisses my forehead, my cheeks, my lips, and his mother taught him how. We stay like that as the moon climbs higher. New family, new pack, new world. Alaric sleeps between us, safe and loved, completely unaware that his mother just toppled a dynasty for his sake. But he'll know someday. I'll tell him the story of the queen who threw away her crown, because she loved him more than power, because she loved truth more than duty, because she finally understood that real strength isn't about dominance, it's about choice. I was Queen of France for 7 years, but I only became Luna when I threw the crown away. 2 weeks after abandoning Versailles, I discovered that being Luna to a free beta pack was infinitely harder and infinitely more rewarding than wearing a false golden crown. The cabin Marcus shares with me is nothing like the palace apartments I spent 7 years in. It's one room built from rough-hewn logs, with a dirt floor covered in woven rush mats, and a stone fireplace that smokes when the wind blows wrong. The roof leaks when it rains. The door doesn't quite fit its frame. There are gaps in the walls where I can see daylight. And at night, I hear every sound the forest makes. Owls hunting, deer moving through underbrush, the distant howls of pack members on patrol. It's perfect. My first attempt at cooking is a disaster. In Versailles, I never entered the kitchens. Food appeared on golden plates, prepared by master chefs who spent years perfecting their craft. Here, I crouch over the fire pit with a blackened pot, trying to remember what Magda told me about making porridge. I burn it. The smell is acrid and the texture resembles paste. Marcus eats it anyway, smiling through every terrible bite. "It's good," he lies, and I love him more for it. It's awful, I correct, laughing. But tomorrow will be better. My hands aren't made for this work. 7 years of nothing more strenuous than needlepoint have left them soft, useless. Within days, they're covered in blisters from hauling water, cuts from learning to use a knife, burns from tending the fire. I cry the first time I successfully thread a needle to mend Alaric's blanket, not from pain, but from the small victory of creating something with my own hands. Magda teaches me herbalism in the mornings when Alaric sleeps. We walk through the forest, and she shows me what to harvest. Yarrow for fever, chamomile for calm, willow bark for pain. My omega senses, finally freed from suppressants, make me a fast learner. I can smell the potency in plants, feel the subtle vibrations of healing energy. By the second week, I successfully treat a young wolf's infected paw, and Magda nods her approval. You were always meant to be healer, she says. Royalty tried to make you something else. Breastfeeding Alaric is sacred in ways I never imagined. In Versailles, noble babies were given to wet nurses immediately. Mothers didn't sully themselves with such base functions. But here, with my son's small body pressed against mine, his mouth working instinctively, I feel a connection that bypasses words. This is what I was made for, not crowns or councils. This, in Versailles, 20 people dressed my body each morning. Here, I can barely tie my own boots, and I've never been happier. I wake to Marcus's arms around me, his body warm against my back, breath soft on my neck. Real warmth, not the cold expanse of an empty bed. Alaric sleeps between us in a basket Marcus wove from willow branches, and when he cries at night, both of us stumble awake to tend him. The exhaustion is real and bone deep, but it's blessed exhaustion, earned exhaustion, not the hollow fatigue of depression and loneliness. The cabin smells like life, bread baking in the outdoor oven, wood smoke from the fire, my milk when it leaks through my dress, the earthy scent of herbs drying from the rafters. Outside, I hear the pack, children laughing as they chase each other in wolf form, adults arguing good-naturedly about hunting routes, someone playing a reed flute badly but enthusiastically. It's chaos, it's messy, it's real, but not everything is perfect. My body aches in ways palace life never prepared me for. My back screams from carrying water buckets from the stream. My shoulders burn from chopping wood. My feet blister in the rough leather boots that replace my silk slippers. Every morning I wake sore. Every night I collapse exhausted. But these pains are different. They're chosen pains, not the ache of suppressed nature or forced transformation, but the honest hurt of labor freely given, of life fully lived. The emotional ghosts are harder. I wake from nightmares where Philippe executes Marcus in the palace courtyard while I'm forced to watch, where royal guards tear Alaric from my arms and declare him illegitimate, where I'm dragged back to Versailles in chains, the gates slamming shut behind me forever. Marcus holds me through these terrors, whispering reassurances until dawn. Guilt gnaws at me during quiet moments. I abandoned France, my duty, my people. Yes, I was miserable. Yes, the marriage was a lie. But I was still queen, and queens don't just leave. What kind of woman walks away from an entire kingdom? What does that make me? Brave or selfish? You can't save everyone, Marcus tells me one evening as we watch the sunset. You could barely save yourself. Some pack members remain suspicious. I overhear 2 older females talking by the stream when they don't know I'm near. Ex-queen, one mutters. Can she really be loyal to us? Or will she run back the first time things get hard? Soft hands, the other agrees. Soft life. How long until she realizes what she gave up? Their doubt cuts deeper than any knife. I'm determined to prove them wrong, but I don't know how. I can't just declare myself worthy. I have to earn it. And earning trust takes time. I'm not sure I have. The crisis comes sooner than expected. 3 weeks into my new life, a young scout bursts into camp in wolf form, shifting frantically once he reaches the center clearing. Hunters, he gasps. Royal hunters, French military, 10 men, maybe more. They're camped at the forest edge, 2 miles south. The pack explodes into action. Some shift immediately, ready to fight. Others grab weapons, crude but effective spears, bows, knives. Children are herded into the center of camp. Magda starts preparing medical supplies. Everyone looks to me. I freeze. They expect me to decide, to lead. But I don't know how to be a war leader. I was a decorative queen who sat in council meetings being ignored. What do I know about military strategy or pack defense? What do we do, Luna? Someone asks. The title still feels foreign. Luna, not queen, but somehow heavier with real responsibility. My voice cracks. I don't know how to lead you. I was a false queen for 7 years. I don't know how to be what you need. Marcus steps forward, takes my hand. You don't need to be queen. You need to be Luna. It's different. Queens command. Lunas protect. What does your instinct say? I close my eyes. Let my Omega nature guide me instead of my royal training. What do I feel? Fear? Yes. But also responsibility. Those hunters came for me. This is my consequence to face, not the pack's. I'll go to them, I say, opening my eyes. Alone. To negotiate. That's suicide, someone shouts. You'll be captured. They'll execute you. I raise my hand and the protests die down. They came for me. Not for you. This is my choice to resolve. But I need you to trust that I chose this life. Chose all of you. And I'm going to prove that choice is permanent. Marcus grips my shoulders. Then I'm coming with you. No. I touch his face, memorizing every angle. Stay with Alaric. If I don't come back, teach him who his mother tried to be. Our kiss is desperate, devastating. It tastes like goodbye and promises and fear. When we break apart, there are tears on both our faces. Come back to me, he whispers. Always, I promise, praying it's not a lie. I walk through the forest alone as the sun sets. Every sound makes my heart race. Branches snapping, birds taking flight, the whisper of wind through leaves. My Omega senses are sharp with adrenaline. I smell the hunters before I see them. Leather and steel and horse sweat. The acrid tang of fear sweat, too. They're in enemy territory and they know it. Their camp is professional. Tents in a defensive circle. Horses picketed nearby. Fire carefully contained. 10 men, all armed. And in the center, unmistakable even from a distance, Captain Dominique Beaumont. He sees me emerge from the trees. His hand goes to his sword, then freezes. Queen Kira. His voice carries across the clearing. Former queen. I correct, walking closer. I heard you were looking for me. The king demands your return. I laugh, and it echoes harsh in the evening air. The king can demand whatever he wants. I'm not his property anymore. Dominique's jaw clenches. The council wants punishment. They speak of execution for abandoning the throne. Then let them come for me. My eyes flash silver and I feel my fangs extend. Behind me, still hidden in the forest, 400 wolves howl in unison. A reminder, a promise. But I warn you, I'm not a defenseless queen anymore. I'm a Luna protecting her cub, and Lunas fight. The soldiers shift nervously. Dominique raises his hand to calm them. Then, slowly, deliberately, he lowers his sword. Drives the point into the ground, steps away from it. I didn't come to capture you, Kira. I blink, confused. Then why? To warn you. Philippe, he's changing things. Declared publicly that the former queen died in childbirth. France mourns and moves forward. He's arranging a new marriage. A Spanish princess he doesn't love. But he made me duke. Dominique's voice catches. For the first time, he acknowledged our bond. Quietly, carefully, but he acknowledged it. Understanding dawns. I inspired him. You showed him that choosing yourself doesn't mean the world ends, that love can matter more than duty. I still can't be free the way you are, but maybe someday. He reaches into his coat, pulls out a sealed letter. From Philippe. Read it or burn it. Your choice. He and his men mount their horses, leave as quietly as they came. I stand alone in the clearing, trembling hands holding Philippe's final words to me. Back at the cabin, Marcus feeds Alaric while I stare at the sealed letter. The wax bears the royal crest, a symbol that once defined my entire existence, now just decorative on paper. Do you want privacy? Marcus asks. No, stay. You're part of this now. I break the seal. Unfold expensive parchment. Felipe's handwriting is elegant, careful. I read aloud. Kira, 7 years I made you prisoner of a crown neither of us wanted. You gave me something I never expected. An example. Your French people blame you for abandonment. I let them. It's easier than explaining you were never truly free to stay. I declare officially, Queen Kira Winterheart died in childbirth. France mourns. France forgets. France moves forward. You are free, Kira. Truly this time. Does your son have a name? I hope he's strong. I hope he's happy. I hope he never wears a crown. As for me, I'm trying to be as brave as you. I can't yet be as free, but perhaps someday. Until then, live, love, choose. Things we both deserved but only you were strong enough to take. With respect I never knew how to give while we were married, Philippe. The letter blurs as tears fill my eyes. Not sad tears, closing a chapter tears. That part of my life is officially over. Queen Kira Winterheart died, and from her ashes, something truer was born. Is it really over? Marcus asks, holding me. Yes, I'm officially dead, and I've never felt more alive. 4 weeks later, the pack gathers for my official acceptance ceremony. I wear simple clothes, leather vest, wool skirt, boots I laced myself. No silk, no jewels, no crown. 400 wolves form a circle around the sacred clearing where Alaric was born. The moon hangs full and brilliant overhead. Magda stands before me, ceremonial paint in her hands. Kira Winterheart came to us as a lost queen, she intones. Today we accept her as our found Luna. Do you promise to protect this pack? I promise. Do you promise to honor our traditions? I promise. Do you promise that freedom comes before gold? I smile through tears. I always promised that. It just took 7 years to find the courage. Magda draws symbols on my forehead with sacred blue paint, the mark of Luna. Marcus steps forward, shifts partially, and marks my neck with his teeth. The mate bond completes, flooding through me like fire and honey and coming home. I lift Alaric, 4 weeks old, perfect, free, toward the moon, presenting him officially to the goddess who guided us here. 400 wolves howl, not the threatening siege that surrounded Versailles, but joyous celebration, welcome, acceptance, family. Later I return to the clearing alone with Marcus and our sleeping son. The moon bathes everything in silver light. I hold Alaric close, feeling his steady heartbeat against mine. One day you'll ask why Mama isn't queen anymore, I whisper to him. And I'll say, because queens wear heavy crowns and live in golden cages. I'd rather be Luna, free, dirty with earth, exhausted from honest work, but completely, finally, unbreakably alive. Marcus kisses my shoulder. Better origin story than any royal child could have. I laugh, then I tilt my head back and howl. Pure, primal, free. The sound carries across the forest, announcing to anyone listening, I am here. I am whole. I chose this, and I'd choose it again. Every time. I was Queen of France for 7 years, but I only learned to rule myself when I threw the crown away and chose a life no one else would ever choose for me.